Good morning, tank nerds. Mr. G bringing you a video comparing two tank games. We're going to be comparing World of Tanks and War Thunder. I played World of Tanks for so long, way back in the day, about 5 years ago. I gave War Thunder a look about 4 years ago. Back then, they didn't have nearly as much as they have to offer right now. I'm considering getting back into tank games, so I've spent some time doing some research, trying to figure out what is the difference between World of Tanks and War Thunder. So I've been cruising the Reddits, I've been talking to players of both games, and trying to put together just a similarities and a differences list between both games. First up, let's discuss tanks. Obviously, both games have tanks. Lots of tanks. In fact, you could say an entire world based around tanks. These tanks are going to run from World War I all the way up through to more modern tanks. Each game also includes tanks from a multitude of different nations, most of the ones from the Great Wars. When I first began War Thunder, the tank choices were limited, but currently both games offer a wide variety of tanks, with World of Tanks having slightly more. Next, we're going to get into gameplay, and here is where World of Tanks and War Thunder really differ. World of Tanks is basically a much more arcade-style play experience, while War of Thunder has three modes. It has arcade mode, realistic battle mode, and simulation mode. However, in War Thunder, even the arcade mode is more realistic than the only gameplay mode for World of Tanks. In World of Tanks, each tank has hit points. Granted, a shot has to penetrate armor to do actual damage. Shots in World of Tanks can also break things like your tracks, light a fire, etc., just like in War Thunder. However, in War Thunder, there are no hit points. Not something we see from games very often these days. Tanks are destroyed by eliminating the crew, destroying all the systems, or causing an ammo explosion. Also, in War Thunder, it's really important to notice that tanks have realistic style of physics and driving. If you played World of Tanks, they just have instant acceleration, they can turn on a dime, there's no sliding, there's no traction issues. All these things are represented much better in the game engine that runs War Thunder. You're going to get tanks that are going to get stuck in the mud, you're going to have snow, your tanks are actually going to leave realistic style tracks through the terrain in which they're driving through. It was the first thing I noticed as a World of Tank player jumping into War Thunder. The game engine feels a lot different in how tanks drive. Lastly, in World of Tanks, you get a reticle, which is going to grow wider to show inaccuracies while moving, while in War Thunder, the reticle actually just bounces around and moves when you're going over terrain, rather than showing dispersion like in World of Tanks. War Thunder guns and aiming in general tend to be a lot more accurate than the aiming of guns in World of Tanks. Next up, we're going to talk about armor and ammo. Both games have armor and have realistic armor based from historical values of tanks. So angling your tank and trying to have your thickest armor or your most angled armor towards shots coming at you can result in you deflecting shots. This does seem to be shown a lot more accurately in War Thunder. When you hit a target, it will actually give you a zoom in, picture-in-a-picture display in the top right, telling you how your shot penetrated, what it did, if it bounced, how it bounced. If you get killed, War Thunder will also show that to you in a recap. World of Tanks, shots can bounce. You'll know because it'll just do no damage, or you'll hear it ping, or a shot will do damage, and that'll be represented in how many hit points the target loses or taking out a system. There's no taking out or eliminating any crew in World of Tanks because they don't even render crew in-game. They did that so they could have like a lower rating for the game. Lastly, World of Tanks has gold and premium ammo available, while War Thunder does not. However, both games offer a variety of different kinds of shells like armor piercing, HE, and a whole range. However, War Thunder seems to have even more options for different kinds of ammunition and historically accurate ammunition to run in your tanks. Next up, we're going to talk about premium tanks and premium time. Both platforms offer very similar things in this regard. You can purchase premium time for a week or a day or 24 hours or a month or even a year. If you're thinking about getting some premium time for War Thunder, they are a Gaijin game, and often in November, which is Gaijin's birthday, they will sell premium time at 50% reduction. So if you're really going to be thinking about the grind, that might be a good option for you. And I did say the word grind. So now we need to talk about grind. Both of these games are grindy games. War Thunder, however, has nerfed credit earning and reduced itself down to 5 tiers. They require you to unlock a certain number of tanks in a tier before you can unlock any tanks in the next tier, which makes it the grindier of the two games. Also in War Thunder, minigames above tier 3 may actually cost you in-game silver, particularly in simulation mode. While losing money can happen in World of Tanks, it tends to not happen until the higher tiers such as 7 or 8. Also, World of Tanks tends to have more events, etc. that give away premium time and coins. That being said, both games are going to be grindy. You're just going to have to make a call at which one you want to give it a go to. Lastly, I mean, it really comes down to skill and how much damage you're doing in match to how much research and reward you're going to get. Where in World of Tanks, you just need to unlock 1 tank or maybe 2 tanks before the one you want to get in the research tree. You're going to have to be doing more tank unlocking in War Thunder. They're just different. All right, Garage and Research. They both have really similar garage modes, and they also have very similar tech trees. Like we talked about earlier, War Thunder condensed down to only 5 tiers, while World of Tanks has 10 tiers. And World of Tanks is going to have more of a linear unlock system, where War Thunder, you're going to be required to unlock a whole pile of tanks to get to that next tier. Now, one of the biggest differences between World of Tanks and War Thunder is in World of Tanks, you're only playing tanks. If you want to play planes, well, you got to get a whole different client from Wargaming, download that one, and they're not going to be in the same battle together. You want to play naval ships, that's going to be its own thing too. Wargaming has integrated all of that into one client, and you can even have battles that include planes and tanks. And they're also adding helicopters right now and naval battles on the way. So lots of things coming and getting integrated under the hood in War Thunder. They're similar games, guys, but they're both really different. To end up, if you want more of an arcade-style experience, go with World of Tanks. If you're someone who's really into, like, you want to have more realism and simulation, you're going to have a lot more options for that with War Thunder. Give that one a go. But if you like tanks and you just want to blow stuff up, play both games. Please let me know if I made any mistakes in this, guys. Let me know in the comments. Let me know differences you've noticed between both games in the comments. And I'm going to catch you guys all on the next one and hope to be doing some more War Thunder in the future. Mr. G out.